On her wedding day, a poor girl accidentally got into the wrong wedding car. She was supposed to marry a poor man from the mountains, but ended up in the room of the world's richest man. The tycoon lifted her chin, thinking she was the daughter of a business partner.
Lulu, you're even more beautiful than I imagined.
The girl nervously trembled, thinking it was a pet name given by her new husband. The two of them naturally spent a sweet night together. But just at that moment,
The tycoon wants to accept the kiss.
she thought to herself that since the mistake was already made, she absolutely couldn't delay the tycoon's wedding night. As they drove off, something unbelievable happened, which will be explained by Bozy.
The next morning, the tycoon called the girl Lulu again, and this time she finally realized something was wrong and quickly asked if there had been a mistake. The tycoon thought the girl was just being shy and was about to make a further move when his assistant shouted, "There is something important to report." The tycoon had no choice but to get up and leave. But immediately after, maids pushed in a rack full of dresses, each one a custom design worth millions, allowing the girl to choose freely. Additionally, there were dozens of sets of jewelry and diamonds worth billions, so dazzling they could blind someone. Upon waking up, top makeup artists were there to design her look. The girl finally realized that there must have been some mistake. The girl was originally the eldest daughter of the Gu family, but her scoundrel father plotted to seize her mother's family inheritance, caused the death of her wealthy grandfather, and then kicked out his first wife to marry a wicked stepmother. The girl not only had to wash her stepmother's feet every day at home, but she was also beaten and scolded at will, covered in bruises. Before leaving yesterday, the wicked stepmother threatened her. "If you don't marry the pauper from the remote village, you'll have to collect your mother's corpse. Let me tell you, be sensible and marry that living dead man, or I'll cut off your mother's life-saving medicine." Then the stepmother slapped her. The Gu family has only 2 daughters. Someone like you, born of a lower status, should marry a rustic brute and get out of the Gu family. As for my daughters, one will marry the richest man in Qingzhou, and the other will marry a top executive of the wealthiest group. You and your mother aren't even worthy to shine their shoes. But the wicked stepmother could never have imagined that the girl would unexpectedly marry the richest man in the world. As soon as the subordinate entered the office, he fell to his knees with a thud.
I'm a fool, I deserve to die. I am utterly wrong.
It turned out that the subordinate had arranged the wrong marriage yesterday, and the partner's daughter was still waiting at home. Only then did the richest man realize that the girl's previous statement about the mistake was not a joke at all. The subordinate was just about to drive the girl away when he was interrupted by the richest man.
If I say she is right, then she is right. She is my wife, the young lady of the Xiao family.
The subordinate immediately understood the richest man's intention and got up to cancel the old engagement. At that moment, the girl burst in through the door, saying she was there to apologize. "It's all my fault for getting into the wrong wedding car yesterday. I was originally supposed to go to his remote mountain area, but I don't know why I got on the wrong train and ended up with the subordinate." To her surprise, the next second, the richest man took the girl's hand. "You are now my wife, the wife of Xiao Beichen." The girl quickly said, "But I'm not the person you were supposed to marry, and I'm not worthy of you." The richest man didn't mind. "If I say you are, then you are." The girl, who had never felt love before, hugged the richest man tightly, moved to tears. In the blink of an eye, 6 years have passed. She is now the wife of the richest man and has a son. She lives happily in luxury. The richest man adores her, leaves work on time to be with her. She hasn't seen her mother in 6 years. He is returning for business, and she recalls her mother wasn't allowed to see her off. Though she sends money monthly, she worries her mother might be bullied.
I also want to see how my mother is really doing.
That day was the 50th birthday of her father. The stepmother prepared delicacies to entertain the 2 good sons-in-law. One is a businessman from Qingzhou, and the other is an executive. The father was proud, as if blessed by fortune. At that moment, the girl sent a text message to her biological mother, but the malicious stepmother saw it.
Marrying someone from a remote village is worse than marrying a living dead. Oh, it would be best if he died outside and never came back.
After saying that, she threw the phone to the ground. The woman, upon hearing news about her daughter, hurried to pick it up, but the malicious stepmother stepped on it and yanked her hair, throwing her aside harshly.
Let me tell you, your daughter isn't even worthy to carry my daughter's shoes.
She ordered the woman to go to the kitchen to work, threatening to skin her if she dared to delay their lunch. As soon as she finished speaking, 2 scheming women arrived with their husbands. The malicious stepmother immediately changed her demeanor, showering them with praise and mentioning that to welcome them, she had already started cooking a special chicken dish and prepared some fine Nuer Hong wine. Unexpectedly, the wealthy son-in-law sneered, "What's so special about this Nuer Hong wine?" This time, he brought 2 bottles of special reserve Guojiao wine, which is impossible to taste without some connections. Meanwhile, outside the villa, the girl got out of the car with her son and specifically reminded him before entering not to flaunt their identity and to always remain low-key. Unexpectedly, as soon as she entered, the malicious stepmother sneered, "A pauper from the backwoods can actually have a son." Immediately after, the scheming elder sister boasted, "What kind of good seed can come from a pauper's child? Unlike my son, who attends a top elite school, just 1 year's tuition is more than you could earn in a lifetime." The malicious stepmother waved her hands. My daughter's children are all outstanding, like dragons among men, incomparable to people from the lower class. The girl was long accustomed to their attitudes and didn't take it to heart, but her son couldn't tolerate it.
How dare you! I am from the Zhao family.
The girl quickly covered her son's mouth, telling him not to speak recklessly and not to associate with this group of scum. Suddenly, the executive son-in-law found the girl very familiar. Just as he thought her identity might be exposed, the man slapped his thigh.
I remember now. There was an old woman before who tried to climb into Mr. Xiao's bed, and she looked just like you.
The group burst into laughter, saying that the girl married a poor man from the mountains and came back with a child in tow to beg. Upon hearing this, the malicious stepmother became anxious, saying that the family was already supporting an old beggar and couldn't afford to support two. But what they didn't know was that the high-ranking executive son-in-law in front of them became a financial manager thanks to the girl's charity. When facing the girl and the richest man, he bowed at a 90-degree angle, not even daring to lift his head for fear of angering the richest man.
As if saying, who am I to have the privilege of dining with you?
The girl couldn't be bothered to argue with the scum, and after confirming her biological mother was in the kitchen, she turned and left with her son. Unexpectedly, she bumped into a maid, and hot water spilled onto the wicked stepmother. This infuriated her, and she immediately slapped her.
Is this what you taught him? Are you proud of yourself?
This scene made the precious son furious.
How dare you hit my mommy?
For the things that harmed you, our Xiao group will let you off.
But no one believed it, dreaming in broad daylight. You're just a little beggar. Do you really think you're the young master of the richest group? What a delusion. The wicked stepmother raised her arm to continue slapping, but the girl stopped her with one hand and slapped her back.
Anyone who dares to touch my son will regret ever coming into this world.
This infuriated the scumbag father and stepmother. You unfilial girl! How dare you hit your mother? Kneel down and apologize immediately. The girl shouted, She's not my mom. The scheming sister jumped out upon hearing this, claiming that the entire Gu family is supported by the wicked stepmother, and that your incompetent real mother has long been left with nothing, living as a beggar at the Gu family, scrounging for food and drink. The scumbag father demanded the girl kneel, or he would break her legs. At this moment, a luxury car arrived at the villa, and it was the richest man who got out. In order to conduct a surprise inspection of the company's property quality, he even disguised himself as a worker at the construction site. After finishing his work, he didn't even take a sip of water and hurried over to meet his father-in-law's family. Unexpectedly, when the richest man knocked on the door with gifts and introduced himself as the son-in-law of the Gu family, two servants started cursing. Where did this beggar come from, daring to claim kinship with the Gu family? Before the richest man could respond, he overheard the scumbag fathers shouting and immediately barged into the villa.
My mom is the original wife!
You initially built your fortune on my grandfather's business, and after getting rich, you cheated with this vixen. You even threatened my mom with my life to make her work like a slave for you. Aren't you afraid of retribution for doing this? The scumbag father, hit where it hurts, picked up a bowl to discipline the unfilial daughter at the critical moment.
Stop!
Seeing the billionaire father, the son rushed up to complain.
They are bad. They just bullied me and mommy. Make them disappear from the airship.
This made everyone laugh. Who do you think you are? If you have a problem with your brain, go see a doctor early. Don't go crazy here. The scheming sister chimed in sarcastically, looking at the man's tattered clothes. Did you just come back from carrying bricks at a construction site? So poor that your pockets are cleaner than your face. How could you have money to buy a birthday gift for dad? Who knew that in the next second, the billionaire took out the birthday gift, and the maid carried it over. The scornful father opened it with disdain. Are you kidding me? Bringing this broken bowl to fool me? It's obviously worthless, probably picked up from some dirt pit. Unexpectedly, the wealthy son-in-law recognized its value.
Ming Chenghua, a blue and white lotus pattern bowl.
But it must be a fake. The genuine article is worth billions and is kept in a museum. How could it possibly end up in the hands of a pauper? Hearing this, the scoundrel father instantly turned red with anger. How dare someone give him something worthless? He picked up the antique bowl and smashed it on the ground.
Uncle, the wallet is on fire!
The wealthy son-in-law panicked. How could he just smash it like that? What if it's real? He lunged forward to grab the pieces of the antique bowl and examined them with a magnifying glass. The scornful father-in-law started mocking. My two good sons-in-law, they give me gold, large gold pottery, and famous antique paintings. It's one thing to be poor, but you try to fool me with fake goods. But just then...
Oh my god! It's real! This is real! This treasure is worth billions! What kind of big shot could bring out such a treasure?
Everyone suddenly got anxious. Are you sure this is genuine? How could that pauper have an antique worth billions? You must have seen it wrong.
I definitely didn't see it wrong! This treasure is priceless!
After hearing this, people rushed to snatch it, need not worry about food and drink for the rest of their lives. The wealthy son-in-law waved his hand, showing the treasure had been smashed into pieces and was worthless. The scoundrel father smashed the treasure worth billions, almost having a stroke from anger. The scheming sisters slapped him several times before finally waking him up. At this point, everyone realized that the pauper in their eyes was actually the real big shot, and the girl they had bullied for 20 years had turned from an ugly duckling into a swan, becoming a wealthy lady. The wicked stepmother put on a face-changing act in a second.
Good son-in-law, good daughter.
Quickly, bring tea and fruits. Make sure to give my grandson the imported ones.
This film is called The Rich Family's Contract Daughter, and the original is still being updated. The story is not yet concluded. This episode's question: can the girl find her mother and escape the Gu family with her? If you think she can, type 31. If absolutely not, type 32. If you want to see the follow-up, remember to type 36 in the comment section. Alright, that's it for this episode. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe to Bowls Bear Family. See you next time. Bye bye.